This is Henos' Sport, bringing you that heat and that far. We keeping a foot on the what? On the X. We keeping a foot on the what? On the X. And like the Tibetan mastiff that I am, I'm applying what? Unlimited pressure. Because pressure does what? It bursts his pipes. Now let's get on to it, man, because we got to talk about this. Vasiliy Lomachenko, man. You see, we can't be no different than Rudy Poor and Plum Plum Breaks. Classic Dotes and Troglodytes. Ultra fanboys with the ultra fanboy rhetoric, i.e. reverse bias, aka detractors, aka panders. This is what they do at their truest and their most properest levels. They shit on one boxer so that they can prop up another one. Let me say it again. They shit on one boxer so they can prop up another one. If you're doing this same fuck shit, you are no different than them. You are what Gervonta Tank Davis talked about. Boxing has a bunch of fucking trolls. You're no fucking different than them. And people need to understand that. Henos' Sport is going to continue to hold serve and hold court on his position. Keeping the foot on the necks is only selective to motherfuckers when it benefits them. Keeping the foot on the necks is not a selective thing. Keeping the foot on the necks is not a pessimistic thing. It's an optimistic thing. Keeping the foot on the necks is not a subjective thing. It's an objective thing. Because with keep the foot on the necks, it's universal. It's like the utilitarian theory. It's the sum of all. It's the universal point. It's supposed to basically encompass and solve the problems for the universal group of people's thinking. So when Henos' Sport keeps the foot on the necks, Henos' Sport's been telling you guys this shit from the jump. And I got real G's, super real G's, and ultimate real G's out here in these boxing streets. They're not feeling Henos' Sport because Henos' Sport is supposedly defending Loma. That's not what it's about. Because Henos' Sport is not a Loma fan. So we're going to debunk that bullshit. Henos' Sport was very key. Yesterday's live, Henos' Sport was in Etherin and Merkin mode. Henos' Sport held serve and held court because that's what Henos' Sport do. You could put me in the building with 100 of them. When I have the Thor with the Stormbreaker, I'm coming in with the axe through Thanos' fucking chest. Let me say it again. When I have the Thor with the Stormbreaker, I'm coming in with the axe through Thanos' chest. And that's what I did. I put the axe through Thanos' chest because I'm the ultimate truth teller on YouTube. I come in cold-hearted, unadulterated, cutthroat truth teller fashion. Boxing's not personal to me. It never was. And I'm not going to sit here and lie on a boxer because I want to prop up another one. I've been very consistent. And I always keep that same energy. That's what people don't understand. I've been very consistent. There's no motherfucker that could come to my platform. And if you do, you getting checked. To sit here and say that I'm waffling. Henos' Sport don't do that. There's no 50-50 over here on this platform. We are men and women with confidence, purpose, and abundance mindset. And when we lay on a pick, we double down on that bad boy with confidence and fortitude. Listen to the key word. When we lay on a pick, we double down on that bad boy with confidence and fortitude. And that's what I did. And the reason why I'm laying on it is because there's justification behind it. Bob Arum, not Vasyl Lomachenko. You Rudy Poor and you Plum Plum Brains. You classic Dotes and you Troglodytes. You ultra fanboys with the ultra fanboy rhetoric. Bob Arum was the one that propped it up Vasyl Lomachenko. He was the one that said that Vasyl Lomachenko was like Picasso. That shit never came out of Loma's mouth. Loma never said that he was the greatest boxer. I've never heard this shit from Loma. And trust me, I've done my homework and I employ you motherfuckers to do your homework. Let me say it again. I've done my homework and I employ you motherfuckers to do your homework. The good word says, study to show thyself approved. For a workman needeth not be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth. Let me say it again. Study to shew thyself approval unto the man above. For a workman needeth not be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth. So when we're talking truth-telling fashion here, we have to tell the truth, not our bias. This is logic over bias. And if we're putting bias into this, then we're no different than reverse bias, aka detractors, aka panders. Henos' Sport's going to hold serve on this. How we're going to sit here and say that our opinions is more valid than medical professional opinion? I mean, come on. So we're going to have our cake and eat it too. We're going to be selective and we're going to pick and choose. The same motherfuckers when Henos' Sport said that you can't overdo medical opinion. You can't overdo mental health professional opinion. Where Earl the True Spence was getting clown left and right by the WBN, World Boxing News. Henos' Sport kept that same energy over there. It was like, hold up, so WBN are mental health professionals? And everyone agreed with that. So now we're going to sit here and say that Vasyl Lomachenko's shoulder injury is not valid? The man didn't complain immediately after the fight. He didn't pull a Manny Pacquiao. So don't put that shit on him. This is not me defending him. This is me telling the cold-hearted, unadulterated, cutthroat truth-teller fashion. We're going to tell the truths here. Vasyl Lomachenko didn't make no fucking excuse. And last time I checked, Dr. Neil L. Troch, if you want to do your fucking research, because that's the problem with people. They're doing selective research and not comprehensive research. Because you got to look at this shit on both sides of the equation, both sides of the coin. That's the problem with people. They're not like he knows his sport. They're not a Geppetto. Dr. Neil Atras is a highly touted and renowned doctor. He works on many boxers and he works on many athletes. Do your fucking research. This guy performed the same type of shoulder surgery, rotator cuff. He had to take cartilage out of the man's rotator cuff. What is not more credible than that? Not only is a credible doctor that has worked on a litany of your favorite boxers. Do your homework. You'll see the boxers he's worked on. You'll be like, oh shit. And then on top of that, he's worked on other fucking athletes. And he came back and redid the shoulder surgery on Vasyl Lomachenko. We're not going to lie and say Vasyl Lomachenko did not have shoulder surgery. If that's the case, why is he out till late January? See, they don't want to tell you this fuck shit. They just want to tell you, pick and choose and drop selection on, well, he's trying to do it like Manny Pacquiao. That's bullshit. All because of the fact that you was feeling some type of way that he was compared to Floyd. Why is boxing fans taking shit personal? This ain't personal to me. I know Vasiliy Lomachenko's not on Floyd Mayweather's level. I'm not high on Vasiliy Lomachenko. Never have been. I've said it so many times from the jump. If he was the Matrix, then I wouldn't have watched the Matrix movie. Because Neo don't get fucking hit like that. But he is high tech. I'll give him that. He didn't get where he got for no reason. Even Floyd Money Mayweather said that Vasiliy Lomachenko is a great champion. Even Floyd Money Mayweather said that he has to build up Gervonta Tank Davis slowly until he's ready to fight Vasiliy Lomachenko. So that means that Vasiliy Lomachenko is a creditable opponent. This came out of Floyd Money Mayweather's mouth. People are selective with what the fuck they want to say. This shit ain't personal to me, man. But I'm also not going to lie on a boxer because I'm not favorable to the boxer. That makes me no different than reverse bias, AK detractors, AK panders. So we're going to hold serve and we're going to hold court on the fact that a credible doctor. So now this is what it's come to. Common sense is over medical opinion. Get that bullshit out of here, man. Common sense is over an actual doctor that performed soldier surgery on this man twice. He performed the first one when Vasyl Lomachenko screwed his back up in the Jorge Linares fight. And Vasyl Lomachenko didn't even complain. He did that shit after the fact. This is one thing about Loma that you guys can't take away. He's not fucking complaining about him having these surgeries. But he goes ahead and does the surgery way after the fact. He had the surgery 2 days. See, this is the selection that boxing fans don't want to talk about. 2 fucking days after the fight. What excuses is he making? And then he's on the surgery table and he's telling you guys that he had a shoulder aggravation towards the late stages of the fight. But he didn't complain about it after the fight. That's a true warrior to me, man. That's a competitor. His dad wanted to stop the fucking fight from even going into fruition and happening. This is stuff that's quantified, calculated, and verified. Anatoly Lomachenko said, let's postpone this. But Vasyl Lomachenko, as a true warrior, said, no, this is a big fight. I feel that I can win this fight. I'm going to go out there and do it. And when people are picking selection on when Vasyl Lomachenko was doing a handstand or when Vasyl Lomachenko said that he was healthy, yes, at that moment in time, he was actually healthy. Because I've also went back while these things were being said. Matter of fact, while I was on the live, I was researching these things because I'm multifaceted. I could do so many things at one time. And I found out that when that shit was said, that was prior to the late stages of when he started having the aggravation. This man missed 1 week of training camp towards the end because of this shit. But he didn't say nothing. I mean, come on. When Deontay Wilder said that he had distractions at the end of the Tyson Fury fight that contributed to his loss, I held the man by his word. See, I hold these fighters by their word until they prove otherwise. That's how I play this game. I don't sit here and denigrate a fighter or disrespect a fighter because I have a personal disdain or personal hate. And this is where the Gervonta Tank Davis rules come into play when he says boxing has a bunch of fucking trolls. I'm a true alpha extraordinaire governed by true alpha economics, so I'm not going to back up from my position, especially when I have the cold-hearted, unadulterated, and cutthroat truth teller fashion that's rendered. On the live, when I brought up truths, people were muffling around it. You know why you have to muffle around the truth? Because you can't counter it. You can't sit here and tell me that your opinion about somebody's mental or medical injury is higher than someone who has a mental or medical degree. Someone who's qualified in that respective genre. You have to digress to that motherfucker. And if you're not doing that, that makes you no different than Rudy Poo and Plum Plum Rays. It makes you no different than classic goats and troglodytes. It makes you no different than ultra fanboys with the ultra fanboy rhetoric. Keep the foot on the necks is a relative term. Keep the foot on the necks is universal. It can't be a selective thing, because when you keep the foot on the what on the necks, when you keep the foot on the what on the necks, if it applies to you that the foot is being put on the damn necks, then it's going to happen. So you can't tell he knows his sport that he's not keeping the foot on the necks because it doesn't fit your narrative or it doesn't fit your agenda. The agenda was to be adverse to Loma. I'm not going to be adverse to Loma. I don't have a problem with Loma. Loma didn't fuck my woman. Loma didn't do no shit to me. I mean, the way these motherfuckers sound, they sound as if Loma fucked they chick or Loma did something personal to them. That's why they call people Flomos. Because it's just like calling people Pactards. It's just like calling people Cinnamon Alvarez fanboys. You can't let your bias and your of a fan base of a fighter cloud your judgment that you're going to denigrate another fighter. I mean, come on. Does that make any sense? The only person that's justified in saying what he's saying is fucking Floyd. If Floyd says Loma's not on my level, Floyd is right. And here's the caveat. If motherfuckers was saying that, see, Loma's not on Floyd's level and they left it at that, that's okay. But to then now try to sit here and say that he's lying about his shoulder injury and that Lomachenko is like Manny Pacquiao, now you putting shit on this man that this man don't even fucking deserve. And he knows the sport is not going to defend the man. He's going to defend bullshit. He's going to defend against bullshit. This is what this platform is all about. Countering, ethering, and murking and defending against bullshit. We're not going to do this fuck shit over here. I told you guys it's not personal. I never had an issue with Loma. Never had an issue with Canelo Alvarez. Yes, I'm going to keep that fucking same energy. Never had a fucking issue with Terrence Bud Crawford. I don't have an issue with them personally because it's not fucking personal. I have an issue with the way that they've moved. But Vasiliy Lomachenko just got out of that unfavor of mine because he took on a young lion and he was willing to go toe-to-toe with him. And the fact that he had, in the late stage of a fight, a shoulder injury that he was dealing with and he didn't fucking pull out. He didn't do no Cinnamon Alvarez bullshit. He didn't do no a chihuahua barking behind the fence bullshit. He actually went through and fought. You got to give this man credit. You have to say that he's a warrior. Because if we sit here and give Floyd Mayweather credit for the first Castillo fight, how did Floyd Mayweather have his shoulder that was popping out, but he still finished the fight? Vasiliy Lomachenko got surgery. Listen, you dodo heads, you brain full of mush and you brainwash dodo heads. He has soldier surgery on his rotator cuff. He had cartilage removed. I mean, come on. If that's not serious, I don't know what the fuck serious is. And I'm going to defer to the doctor, just like the same way that I deferred to Marcellus Wilder when he said Deontay Wilder's doctor said that the human skull that got cracked in by Deontay Wilder could have not been done by a human fist. Am I going to discredit that? That's a doctor saying that. So when the fuck did boxing fans become doctors? Common sense doesn't rule over medical opinion when it has to deal with medical injuries. That's bullshit. Now you're basically saying that you have basically done the Hippocratic oath, that you are a fucking doctor yourself and you're more qualified than the person that actually performed the surgery. It's bullshit. He knows the sport's gonna call out that bullshit. I'm gonna ride a little bit on this video because it's fuck shit. I'm gonna hold my position here. I'm not a Loma fan. Never fucking was. I'm not high on Vasyl Lomachenko. Always kept that same energy. But I know once a super duper hype job, always a super duper hype job. And I saw the fuck shit that Bob Arum did. And you guys saw on the live, as I kept my stance and held serve in my alpha form, motherfuckers was admitting shit. Yeah, you know how Bob Arum is. You know how Bob Arum get down. You know how Bob Arum could be. But if you guys know this, why are you now dancing around it? Because I told you guys about the truth. The truth hurts, but the truth will set you free. And the truth will always reveal erroneous ways. You can't dance around the truth. And you can't be selective with the truth. You can't have partiality with the truth. You have to gird thy loin up completely, cold-heartedly, unadulteratedly, and cutthroat truth-telling fashionly with the fucking truth. So the bottom line is this. I'm not going to sit here and debunk Loma's shoulder injury that he re-aggravated for a second fucking time. This is stuff that's documented. And he didn't fucking complain. Now I would have been right there with these real G's and these super real G's and these ultimate real G's out here in these boxing streets if Lomachenko complained like Manny Pacquiao did immediately after the Floyd fight. Because we knew that was some bullshit that Manny did. Loma didn't do that. So why are you putting something on this man that he didn't do? And he knows the sport. And the prediction king strikes again. And the prediction king strikes again. When he knows the sport kept pressing, what did he knows the sport tell y'all? It's because motherfuckers will feel salty about the comparison with Floyd. It's not that fucking personal with me, man. It's not, I don't live rent and space free in my head and soaking up all the damn AC because they compare Loma to Floyd. Who gives a fuck? They compare everybody to Floyd. So am I gonna have an aneurysm for that? Am I gonna have a heart attack for that? I mean, come on. Really, folks? Is this what it's become? Oh, how dare they compare Loma to Floyd? Okay. We know he's not on Floyd's level. And if you know that in the heart of your heart, why do you give a fuck about being excessive about this shit? We got to judge this fight for what it is. We can't sit here and act like Bob Arum is not an old car salesman in boxing. He's the one that propped it up Loma the way he did. Loma has shown nothing but respect for Floyd Mayweather. If you guys been watching Loma on Loma TV, he's talked about how Floyd Mayweather's defense is so sharp that it would literally take him years. I don't see him doing no Teofimo Lopez super duper hype job variation bullshit and say, oh, I could figure out the shoulder roll in a matter of weeks. That came out of the super duper hype job variation's mouth. Did y'all hold his feet to the fire on that? Loma said it would take me years. I would actually have to study under Floyd. This shit came out of his mouth on Loma TV. Don't discredit this man because you're adverse to him. And see, this is the thing with people. When they are adverse to something, they rear their ugly personal heads. You know, sport's not going to do that. Again, recap. I'm not a Loma fan. I'm not high on Loma. But I'm not going to tell lies on Loma that shouldn't be told on him. All because I want to gloat that he supposedly lost to Teofimo Lopez. I had this shit 7-5, draw at worst. And if people change their minds and say later on, like in the live, they mentioned Andre Ward, who gives a fuck? If Andre Ward changes his mind, he changes his fucking mind. Am I going to lose sleep over it? I'm still going to hold serve and hold court that it was 7-5 in Loma's favor. At worst, it was a fucking draw. I'm going to continue to keep the foot on the what? On the X. I'm going to continue to keep the foot on the what? On the next. The bottom line is this. Don't put no shit on a fighter that a fighter doesn't need to have shit put on him. Because that makes you no different than other reverse bias, AK detractors, AK pandas. This is what they do at their truest and their most properest levels. They shit on one boxer so they can bring another boxer up. And if you're doing that, then the Gervonta Tank Davis rules applies. Boxing has a bunch of fucking trolls. I keep the foot on the what? On the X. I keep the foot on the what? On the X. This is He Knows the Sport. Checking out.